Good day everyone, back with some more FGO today, where the plan is to embark on our journey into September. But as always, first things first, we do what summons are available, and hope for Ku and Asako. Although this particular singularity contains a lot more night classes than the last one did, where the last one was focused mostly on riders and other cavalry overall, with a few night classes but a very weak enemy. This leans more heavily in the opposite direction. Well, we got some nice golds, and this is a handicraft essence to help make your crits more reliable. I feel like it's actually been a while since we've gotten a 3-star save from FP pools. Unfortunately, the raid is the same as getting a 5-star. Now do we keep pulling on this, so go back to story? Guess we'll do this. Well, actually, Spade will you? No, I don't want bold here. Oh, seat 9. Sure. I actually forgot that was even a thing. Okay. Fergus seems to like us quite a bit. There's a mana prison. It's just a shame tomorrow's login, this particular banner will be gone. Oh, another copy of Robin maybe. Well, we have MP3 David now. We take those. And I'll go ahead and tell you, we get another copy of him, not this singularity, but next. So we've got him MP4 basically in the bag. That craft essence seems to like us quite a bit. It's a shame it's a very poor one. Well, that's some kind of luck, I suppose. Let's go ahead and see what. Can we those? Okay. Wait, did we get? We got 3 of those. That's insane. Enhancement wise, we can juice up Heracles' HP some. We've actually got him close. He won't need to awful any more foes to get to the silver cap, we'll call it. That'll make him a bit tankier. let's go to here. Okay, I'm glad I didn't burn that, because that gets so rushed to MP5. Which it turns out we didn't have. That being said, it's going to be a bit before we can spare the mats to level it, because we still need to work on David and Robin. Goal is get David's middle skill up as quickly as we can. We want that cooldown lowered as soon as possible. Whereas with Robin, we don't, like, eventually, yes, his skills, especially his poison skill, getting the cooldown down on that, so he can more often keep the poison up. But it's not a priority, especially compared to David's second skill. Unfortunately, we can level it a bit, and I'll show. Okay, so here's how skill leveling works. The first 3 ranks only take skill gems. So first 2 blue, second 2 red, and then the next 2 gold. Then after that they don't take gems. Now the first 3 ranks, all they take are skill gems, as you can see. However, starting at level 4, they're going to need a skill gem and some sort of enhancement material. And then after the second rank that needs a gold one, they will just need 2 separate enhancement materials all the way up to level 9. And then to get to 9, from 9 to 10, you need a special material, which is only gotten from events, which is a crystallized lore. So we're only going to be able to get him to rank 4, which unfortunately doesn't lower the cooldown. So I'm mostly doing this just to demonstrate how skill leveling looks. As you can see, we need, unfortunately, homunculi babies, which are not even available for us to grind very well until 2 singularities from now. They actually are available from Lancer daily quest. Specifically the second one. They may be available in this one as well, but I wouldn't swear to that. Maybe with an even better drop rate. Of course, you have to hope one of the homunculi enemies oh, that is homunculus. You have to hope one of these spawn, and then you have to get a gold chest drop from them to get a homunculi baby. So it's not exactly the most common thing to get to happen, unfortunately. But with the half AP cost daily quest, it's a decent time to work on it. Alright, let's see. Crystallized laws. So, for the most part, you get them from events. However, if you're one of the type that can typically, if you're a free-to-play player, or even like a dolphin, and maybe pay a little every now and then, you're not going to have an abundance of rare prisms, because again, the predominant way of getting them is to burn gold servants, which most of the time, if you're starting out, you want to kind of keep those because they're very helpful for you. Unless it's just something that you're just absolutely certain you're never going to level and you hate the character or whatever, then go ahead. So that's another way, but these are what the crystallized laws look like. But for the most part, you get 2 or 3 per event if you complete everything in the event, including the challenge quest. Now, challenge quests in events, it's going to be a bit before you can actually qualify for them, because even if you clear everything else in the event, the requirement for them is to clear everything else in the event. Typically, at minimum the event story, but typically everything else in the event. But you also have to have cleared Act 1 of the story, which is a long way away. So your first few events, you probably won't have access to the challenge quest. But to be fair, I mean, they're called challenge quests for a reason. A lot of them are tough enough that it would be unlikely that your kit is prepared to handle what they have, what the quest will throw at you. This is a one-fight node for a nice Saint Courts, so we'll turn right back around and do one last summon before really diving into this singularity. Just like Orleans, it's 15 chapters, so we'll see how we get. See how we go to determine how far we get in the event. As you can see, this is yet another wave with 6 enemies instead of 3. Not sure why they didn't just put a middle wave. Oh, David, look at you. We take those. Watch this. He should be fine here too, since he gets class advantage. I mean, that was disadvantage. It was a crit, yeah, but all the crit does is basically erase the disadvantage. Sorry, it was basically neutral damage. Just drop us more of those. We're gonna need a lot of them. Just keep on my coming. There's Umu, Padoru, Nero Claudius. And she's the story-locked servant that's going to be added to story summon after this. She's a 4-star AoE saber who is kind of a little bit like a saber coup in that she's very survivable. Wait, that isn't. Well, we have a summon, but that wasn't exactly where we wanted to go. She's blue axe. She's quite survivable because she has a skill that gives her, come on, coo, 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 coo. You know, sometimes life has a funny way of working out. Sometimes it can be a right comedian. Just, excuse me for a moment, I'm gonna go cry in the corner. I actually need to take a moment to try to snipe another really handy account to follow for these story fights for support units, actually, come to think of it. For some reason I keep getting in my head that we have 2 follow slots instead of 3. I have the foggiest why, but it keeps happening. This is overkill, but sometimes we have a little fun. Now thankfully this singularity is going to give us all of the hero groups as rewards for doing the nodes. And these little buggers can drop them, so hopefully they're feeling generous. Okay, we take that and run with it. That's what we like to see. Just keep pumping that out, and we can smile. Alright, well first, so that is a really amazing unit. Having access to a Bond 10 Heracles that already has his skills maxed, and MP2, like we have our own, but if I took the notion to show off proper Heracles and what he can do in a solar environment, then we have that option. Besides that, well, these 2 are unfortunately a bit redundant because they're both ARE alter egos. Both of them are very good. So you can't really go wrong if you like either of them. And that one gave us access to Merlin and Tamamo and Renes. Of course I already have access to Renes if I wanted. Well, her waiver. So this was like, if this was high of MP level, I would have snatched on that just because I really like Mysterious Harrow and Double X. Unfortunately, Well, let's see what else they have. I mean, they clearly like her. They've growled her to 100. And she's coming up soon enough, so I imagine they're going to be rolling for more copies of her. Unfortunately, the rest of the list isn't anything the other two don't provide. Yeah, we need to get down here. Now there's a good Heracles, but he's better than the one we have access to. Well, let's see. There's Orion, which is really Artemis, because that's Orion, and that's Artemis. It's unfortunate. I think it's a pass. Let's give it a good old shuffle. We won't do this too long, because I imagine this is not the most thrilling thing to watch. There's a seed on eye. Have access to a single target. Alter ego might be handy. Be really cool if we randomly got it here on our rolls from doing we get as we go through here, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. Somebody like Salieri. Let's see, we have access to Marilyn, Tamamar, Waver, Inez. I suppose we'll look and see if anyone has Scotty. Ah, not only do they have a Scotty, but they have her with what else do they have? We'll try to find a Scotty that has a... Is that her Bonzi? What does that even do? Okay. I mean, I guess I can think of worse things to have. This is actually an alright thing. That could help us bond up Heracles. So let's check. Okay. Funny thing is, like I already have both of these. And we have access to 2 Nero Brides. Okay, I think we'll grab this one. Yeah, definitely. I like this list. Which one was it? Oh no. I mean, single target foreigner can be handy in certain fights. This is Artoria Archer, which she's a very good single target arts archer. She loops like it's going out of style. I've already mentioned that how I adore Okida and Aresh, but of course we'll ignore those two. Scotty's always good to have, and that's a fine CE to have on your support, I suppose. There's the highest... No, I did see somebody with an MP5 shooting Doji on my main, but I don't know if they're on my list, kind of thing, are they? And then this is really nice. MP2 Melt. I really like Melt. Just to make doubly sure it's this one. Or I should probably actually grab something that's so cruel. Yeah. Alright, kids, remind me. mark this as a follow after this fight. So now we have access, so if we do that, we will have access to all of the major supports from the support list. Of course, we're a long way from having DPSs that can capitalize on a lot of that, but it helps. You know, if I had one complaint about Mysterious Heroine X Alter, Echan, it's that I wish there were versions of her first and second ascension that without glasses. I'm one of those apparently rare people now that is not a fan of glasses. So it'd be neat if they added little alternate versions where she's without glasses. And they're definitely silly enough to do something like that, because look at old Li Xuan. They literally added variants, outfits where he has his sunglasses on. They did it with Lambda as well. Added one where she's got her shades on. So they're not above doing nonsense like that. It'll probably be a while before I actually get to leveling the Echan that I got on my main, unfortunately. Just because I'm so QP styled right now. I have plenty of Berserker stuff, but just because, for whatever reason, I don't really get Berserkers to level. They're not welfare, which predominantly pay for themselves from the event. Ah, Caligula. This is a wee bit. I knew he was early. I remembered he was early, but this is a bit earlier than I thought he was. Is this? That's what we call a skill, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we call a skill. It has approximately all of the effects. That's another interesting thing. The Mysterious Heroines, X and then Echan here, have gotten... I think they've both gotten a buff on everything except one of their 3 skills at this point in JP. Just because of how poor shape they were at the gate, the way they came out. And I don't know if DW recalled off where, but just how popular they were as characters or what, why they came out so sketchy. But they've definitely been working hard to make them, and they're actually really solid units now, really good. So, problems fixed, I suppose you could say. This is really handy because he's a support. We don't want him slurping up stars, but even nerfing his star count, Archer's bloody star gather so high, he still slept up most of the stars. David, you're actually killing us. I wonder if they have craft essences that lower your star gather weight. I don't think so. I recognize some of those moves. Ooh, that was a crit. The old Heracles crits. That's what you get for following orders, little soldier. There we go, getting berserker pieces now. And more hero proofs, just to keep them coming. Right, follow. Okay. I remembered. I mean, we can't pass up using Precious Loki there. To Pearson Way, interesting. Oh, Loki is really good. She's got a very simple kit, but it's very strong. She's got a 1-turn quick up. It's I'm pretty sure 50%. I'll double check for you. Alright, I can do this number. Where are we? We'll just post the link for her. So it's 50% up. Second skill. Juices up her gather weight. And then she's got a turn of hard survival with an invade. And a 3-turn crit strength up. Which of course, which is interestingly 40%, not 50% like they usually are. But still perfectly fine. That's still a big chunk. And recently in JP they actually gave her a buff to her first skill. That juices up, gives her a 20% attack boost each time she hits with one of her face cards for 1 turn. So basically you would quick NB instead of like NB quick for maximum damage, I suppose. Her MP is unupgraded, of course, but it ignores defense buffs, single target crit, reduces their defense for 3 turns fairly heavily, 30% at base. So she's got a simple kit, she's really strong. But for some strange reason, people like to act like she is like out of date or too old-fashioned or something, despite the fact that she still does really well, even before they gave her little. Because it's very recent she got the buff on her first skill, and she's been doing perfectly fine. And even in current JP. So it's one of those things. It's kind of like it's a little like Nero, where Nero Bride rather, where she's a very popular character, but for some strange reason, people just, I don't know if they just didn't realize ways to use her or what, but they complained about her being weak despite her being strong. So then, like, she keeps getting buffed. So I'm curious if they will eventually give her an MP buff. If people are still complaining, oh, she's too old-fashioned, she's too out of date. It's a bit silly, but whatever. Sure. I really like her, so go ahead, make her even more broken. It's perfectly fine. The only thing that breaks my heart is the few times she ever gets rated up, I'm always unable to justify rolling for her. Like, it wasn't too long ago she got a rate up in NA, which was billed as like her last chance, but then she got a rate up when she got her buff in JP, so she does have another banner coming. It's just a ways away. And she should get a banner on the rerun of that event as well, so I guess she has two. But I think it's a Gouda event. Yeah, we'll look it up. It's one of the Gouda events, which are always a lot of fun. They're pretty goofy, fun stories. Nice. It was the end of last year in JP, I think. So when that Gouda quest, a Gouda event was. Yeah. Yeah. It was in October. So it should be next October. She has and it's in the okay, it's a pre-campaign for it, which means, well, I don't know. I don't know if that will rerun or not. So it's probably better safe to assume it won't. And if you like Okida, to save to that next year. But again, that's next October. So that's quite a ways away. Incidentally, one of the two limited 3-star servants is actually rated up with, in this case, Okada Izo, who a lot of people really like. He's a single target arts assassin. He's actually pretty good. He's certainly not bad. He's definitely one of the better 3-star units. Asako, I would say, is still better than him though, and she's always available. Well, unless you have eye luck, and then she never comes. But generally, theoretically, she's always available. I think she crit, so I was just hoping to get it at 80%, so 20% battery would carry. Since we're going to use it either way for the bust out, so she gets the multiplicative damage. Okay, that gets well, in JP she gets an animation update on the same time she gets her buff, but they sometimes give those early for global. Like this current banner with graphs on it. This is way out of the blue considering when JP got this stuff. So it was a big surprise. It's funny, when I first started playing and I got David. Well, when I first started playing, I didn't get David. I didn't get the copy of David until I cleared Singularity 3 and was gifted the copy of him, which is pretty funny. Oh, Enkidu. Enkidu is one of the non-limited. It's really lovely, and is a very, very strong single target buster lancer. Has a big buster up that can also, it will increase either quick or arts guard up as well for a turn. You actually remove evade and decrease the crit rate for an enemy while simultaneously giving yourself a 1-turn evade, so hard survival. And then a large heal with debuff removal, which I've already went over how important that is. That's always lovely to have. And just a very damaging MP. It lowers defense, deals a lot of damage, and if they're divine, it will stun them for a turn. Very survivable, a lot of damage. It's almost it's just a really, really good unit. Has a lot of quick cards, so it can set up a lot of MP then crit turn, which helps get back the MP, which helps get back more crits, all while surviving for long periods of time just to dish out even more damage. Enkidu is a really strong unit. And it's spooky, so can pop up to help you out anytime. This is one of those interesting fights where, well, what was the point of this one? It's 2 waves with 3 enemies total, none of which were even like a mid-boss level thing. Just weak soldiers. DWI. Now, like I said, unfortunately, these first a couple of singularities are filled with some pretty obvious and sketchy padding. But if you can make it past that, which, since you're still new to the game, everything should be fairly fresh for you still, hopefully. That'll keep you going. Once you get past that, then things start getting more interesting. And when that happens, things like really improve a lot. It's a very noticeable uptick. And so right now all we have going on is the anniversary. So there's no event to go work on in the meantime. And events are usually quite interesting as well. A couple of them are sort of grindy nightmares, but generally those are older events, which the initial run and even the rerun has already passed, even for global at this point. So you're in luck, you missed most of those. So most events are a pleasant break from these early story chapters. Man, that is a shame. I actually forgot a random ghost popped up even here. Alright, Heracles doesn't really make stars. Huh. Oh, we're gonna get our MP, it looks like. That's good. So this is the second time we've, I think this is it the second or third time we've used her. So this will actually be the first time I've personally used her MP here on Wave 3. Just because I don't think there's a single person on my friends list on my main that has her, for one. And two, just and well, that's generally all the supports I use. Is from there nowadays. Alright, let's see what she can do. We'll go ahead and juice her up. Yeah, let's lower this. The bugger. And he's still. David. Look at you. This will definitely kill one of them. So. Either way, it would wipe them both, but I was trying to think of what if this was a 3-person wave. That's decent star gen. points of damage. Since she has so much health regen per turn, she can, as long as she doesn't get like triple crit in a turn and completely wiped out, she can heal back up pretty nicely, so she can stick around. Of course, MPs are an issue because she doesn't have hard survival. Oh, what is this? Well, you can tell how long it's been since I've been in this singularity, because I sure didn't remember finding ghosts this early. Surely did not. Unfortunately, we're not getting any decent drops from them, because the ghosts can drop, well, ghost lanterns, which are needed for quite a few servants that you might have access to early on. I remember being in a pickle, needing a lot of them on my main account when I first started playing. I grinded ghosts for so long, and thankfully an event started. The event where you get Shiki. It was the rerun, and it had the lanterns in the shop, and also had a high drop rate through a lot of the fights in said event. So I ended up getting a decent amount, more than enough that I need. Ushi needs 11 of them, for example. Shakespeare needs 28 in total, but again, you're only leveling one of his skills, so he needs 12. Yeah, 12. Wait. Yeah, 12. And in my case, I had Tamamar Cat as my starter, and she needs 42 of the bloody things. So it was rough out there when I started. Ooh, an archer. You know what? Let's Bradamante is another non-limited Lancer. As far as I'm aware, she's okay. She just doesn't stand out a great deal, so she's sort of never really mentioned. She's AoE quick Lancer, which probably explains why she's so overlooked, because you already have Pavati as an AoE quick Lancer that's a 4-star who loops her MP like crazy. So she has a double mana, card color mana burst, 30% each. That's pretty solid. She has guts, so she has some soft survival, as well as a 3-turn defense up. She can, she has a targetable 20% battery with debuff removal. That's actually pretty nice. Her MP has a 60% chance to stun the enemies and reduces their crit attack chance by 20% for 3 turns, which is always really nice as well. And she gives herself an MP damage up that activates before her MP. So she has multiplicative damage if she's got her mana bear stuff. Yeah, she seems definitely okay. It's just one of those cases where she's a fine unit. It's just there's a kind of overly, I hesitate to call Pavati overpowered. Just a really, really good unit that is quite common to already have because she's a 4-star and non-limited and gets raid ups moderately often, from what I recall. So it's one of those where I suppose oh dear, I'm struggling to grab a hold of the word that I'm wanting to use here. The perception is more negative than the reality. There we go. Alright, let's see. Very colorful MP. She regen 19%. She might have. Well, I probably shouldn't say that because I haven't really. I'm not overly familiar. I don't have personal experience really with very many AoE quick units besides like Atalanta, whose MP gain works a bit differently than the more commonly thought of loopy quick units. In her case, the idea is to MP, set up a big old crit turn, and then crit and get your MP back, then MP, then another crit. That's the way she semi-loops, as opposed to getting so much refund off of her MP, like people kind of obsess with when it comes to the double Scotty stuff. How's her materials? RD. Yeah, that's a bit rough. She uses a lot of hero proofs and a lot of great knight medals. Great knight medals are an actual nightmare, I'm afraid. They're a silver material which means they generally have a lower drop rate than bronzes. However, now I think it was last stream I mentioned, starting out, silver and gold materials are going to be a bloody nightmare for you. But in the long run, it's the bronze ones that's going to be the most issue. Well, and the reason why is just because so many units need the same ones, and in such high numbers. Unfortunately, Great Knight medals is in a similar bucket, where a lot of units need them. Basically, most things that are affiliated with the Knights of the Round Table, or, well, knightliness in general. And they need them in large numbers, even though it's a silver mat. Like approaching bronze mat level numbers. And they don't seem to be all that often, or all that common, rather, in event shops to help you out. And their best drop rate node is not a particularly good drop rate. And it's also not the easiest node to farm in the world either. So yeah, those are one of those that's going to make you cry. He bond levels up fairly quickly, I feel like. Like, didn't he just hit bond 4 just a few minutes ago? Or am I going crazy here? Oh, crazy, yeah. Okay, let's switch to Aerie for a moment. As if we can get our MP in time, but we'll see. Well, the good news is we're getting our MP. What's happening? Getting AMP? That's probably like 50% over gauge. Nice quick bite. I think I've mentioned this before, but I'll go ahead and repeat. If might seem a bit rough, it's like, oh, but wait, I don't have any decent, like no one's accepting my friend requests and stuff, the randos that I use their unit stuff. It's like it's you can very easily find an FGR Discord or Reddit or whatever, and ask people there if they're willing to friend you, even though you're a new player. And generally, you'll find lots of people willing to help out. Some of them may not always give the best advice, unfortunately, so you do be wary of that. Unfortunately, even some of the more popular sites that cover games like this. This is a fight that I always, for whatever reason, initially think, oh, that was in Orleans, wasn't it? But no, it is here. Wow, that's so shooting Doji, she's got a 1-turn charm that's a 3-turn defense stand for all the enemies. She juices up. She's got a charisma that also increases her own MP strength. And then she's got the guts. And then her MP, well, it'd be quicker to tell you what it doesn't do, which is lube, unfortunately, but just heavy damage, decreases their debuff, resist, defense, attack, MP strength, crit rate, skill sells them for 1 turn, the other stuff is all 3 turns, 5 turns of poison, and gives a corroding poison, which basically doubles the damage her poison does for 5 turns. And since it's upgraded, it does even more damage than it originally did. So yeah, she's just an insane debuffer. Unfortunately, her MP is 1 hit, so she doesn't get much refund from it. So she's not one of those arts units that can quickly loop her MP very easily. That being said, considering the plethora of art support available, that can be helped quite a bit to where it doesn't really matter if you like her. And that's hardly a drawback, because the thing is, looping's great if you can do it, but it's not a requirement. The only difference is, I might have taken a turn or 2 extra in the fight, the horror. The most important thing is having the MP ready when you really need it, like in this situation, which unfortunately we don't, but them are the breaks. Wait a minute. Go ahead and do this too, just for kicks and giggles. Fortunately, it missed hair. Going to. We could probably kill him with a brave jet, with the bust, starting with the buster. But I want to see what kind of MP gain we can get instead. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not the well, we still got him at least. Well, how about that? Yeah, obviously we should be using Heracles' cards, but I can't pass up Brave Chains. Especially these high crit Brave Chains. Jeepers, David. Easy now. She had a family. That's a bit dark of a joke, I suppose. There you go. Good boy. Pop the guts. Boudica is actually slept on quite a bit. She's a pretty solid support at this point in JP. Especially if you have access to Kieranus Lancer. Who I imagine is going to be very commonly rolled for, because people seem to really like him. That's coming next year. I want to say around March-ish, something around there. But don't hold me to that. Wait a minute, we need a saber. Not sure why it put me over there on alter egos. Well, no repeat of getting her MP down in one turn, like last time. Sad, but we have a second wave to see what we can do. And there's a good shot at getting at least one of our last cards there. This is very unlikely to charge her, and yeah, problem solved. This would have solved it either way. But one of the golems. These drop octuplet crystals, which I needed for quite a few important units. Heracles needs quite a bit of them, for example. In fact, octuplet twin crystal. Let's see. Mash needs 15 of them. Of course, Mash needs a lot of the early mats. Well, 5 per skill, so she needs 15 of each of the early mats, pretty much, to rank up her skills. And you definitely want to level her skills. David needs a lot of them. Kukulane needs 11 of them just to ascend. Ushi needs 56 of the Bloody Veins. Alexander needs 40 of them. He's another rider that you probably want to level when you get him. He's basically your only free quick support. Your only 1 to 3 star quick support. Kind of. And even then he's a semi-support. Which is unfortunate, but Asuka needs 40 of them. So, yeah, a lot of very important units. Early on, Spartacus needs them. That you will commonly be leveling to begin with. Need a lot of them. And golems are the ones that drop them. Oh, I should probably actually. Then again, he doesn't even have 20k health. So, it's a bit overkill. Didn't even need her MP. But it's the thought that counts, really. Can't go wrong with the rescue gun. Incidentally, if you were wondering, so servants have noble phantasms. But what do these little regular soldiers and enemies have? Well, they have extra attacks, just like a shadow servant has. So they'll do a lot of damage, but they're not as dangerous as an actual noble phantasm is. And this is fun. G'day, Spinal. You missed me ranting about all kinds of things. Well, rambling more like, instead of ranting, would be more accurate. Well, almost halfway through Septum already, I think. I forget what chapter we're on. I think like 6 or 7. The total thing's 15 chapters, just like. But that's a lot of fun. Yeah, we're exactly halfway through now. Ah, Chloe. Unfortunately, her second and final rerun just happened last February. Sorry, anyone starting now had missed. Nice-oo. That's what I like to hear. So you finally got that mess all sorted out. Alright, and here's Caesar. So if you get Caesar, he's actually a perfectly good saver. Like, he and Bedivere are pretty much neck and neck for best 3-star savers, and they're, well, you don't really have any other option beside them besides Fergus. They're both single target. Bedivire's probably, well, I don't know. Caesar gets an upgrade at some point to his MP and becomes even stronger. And then recently Bedivere gets an upgrade as well. I'm not particularly fond of Caesar, unfortunately, so I never actually use him. But if you like him, fine, or even indifferent to him, you'll definitely get a lot of help out of raising him. So Chloe here has a 50% battery. Waiting on the approval. Well, hopefully that gets sorted out soon enough. She also has a 1-turn triple color up and a 1-turn evade to boost crit strength. She's very good. She's a welfare, so if you're available for an event, it's not difficult to get her MP5, which means her MP is going to do really nice damage despite not being upgraded. And she's arts, and she can actually get her MP back fairly quickly. But yeah, unfortunately, if you start playing now, you've missed her rerun. However, she's a popular character, and they are adding what are called main interludes to the Rare Prism shop in the game from time to time. Now, it's infuriatingly slow, unfortunately, but they are adding them, and hopefully they get the keys to into gear and start adding them a bit quicker, because some of these welfare that people might miss are very handy to have. Without being able to suddenly generate a bunch of crit stars, there was no way to 110 that with Chloe, unfortunately. But as you can see now, she has her crits up. Now, she already has the evade from David, but we'll get her crit strength up, and she should really pop off with the crits here. Yeah, look at that damage. Now, if I recall, we fight Caesar a few times, and he gets a little stronger each time. Because lore-wise, he should be a decent bit stronger than Nero. Yeah, he's got his lonely man hand out. Uh-oh. Don't do this just to get the Buster bonus, but let's be honest, AMP's going to kill. Her AMP has sure hit on it, which is always handy. Because there are quite a few enemies that get real cheeky and want to spam their evade skills. Because unlike you, they don't have cooldowns. This is another saber piece. Can't have too many of those. There, the octoplate crystals. That it's lovely to see, but we're going to need a great deal more of them, unfortunately. An assassin. Unfortunately, no. Ooh, mind if I do? Single target. Oh, no damage casters available. To be fair, it's kind of rough because if you want to get friend points, some of the things that get rented by people the most are support casters. And there are so many of the big support casters that you might have a couple of them. So you put one in your caster slot and then one in your all slot. And there's just no room for a DPS caster. So they're actually really difficult to come by, unfortunately, on your friends list. I thought this was just an assassin servant, although I couldn't remember who it possibly could have been. But here we are. I feel like this Islander doesn't like me very much. David has been critting like a monster tonight. What are you doing, mate? What are you doing? We'll just do this together, MP. Why yes, we'll give you all of the mount parts. Why thank you, we'll take those. Here's how we set up a crit 10. Now if she was soloing right now, she would pop off so much after this. It's just a bunch of crits. Quickly get her MP gauge back. Repeat. Really drawing blank here of what these remaining nodes are at this section of Septum. Alright, these are sabers, so David's going to smoosh him. No. Errors were made. Oh, you missed it, Spinal. Once again, I was chatting for Kuka Lane on the rolls, and it popped up a silver Lancer, and it was Kuka Lane, but it was Proto-Ku again. The pain is real. Why are you alone? We brought out a nice, lovely AoE saber for you, and you're alone. It's just not the way to be, mate. Just not very nice, but not very neighbourly. There's some ghost lanterns, which is weird because I don't think we fought a single ghost in that entire chapter, but I don't know anymore. Life is confusion. Oh wait, yeah, we have access to a DPS caster. She just doesn't have starting MP. I guess that was what's throwing me off. She does have really good MP gain though, thanks to that CE. Okay, so that's a 50% battery. I think I knew that's what she had. But now I double know. Yeah, surely David's not. Yeah. Just a Aurora arts card. Lead off without a buster buff to it. Actually, no, I don't know if that arts card will be enough to. Never mind. And she's got her MP in time. Calculated. From the beginning, before I even clicked play, before I started stream, I already knew that that's how that was going to work out. The refund from her MP is basically non-existent, it seems. That's surprising. I didn't realise that was a thing when it comes to her. Now her rider version, potentially Lily, the one that's available on the anniversary gacha, very well does have good MP refund and looping potential. She's no rider Mordred, but well, this is awkward. David, smash. That amuses me probably more than it should. Very spooky cave. Or the ground at least is. What's even going on there? Now, if I am recalling correctly, we're going to meet a new enemy type, a new boss monster in here, who will now start to be a bit more common from here on. The drop of material that both Heracles and Kukulane need. I think Heracles needs it. Tarmacat needs it, for sure. I may be getting those materials mixed up. These more bones. We need approximately all of the bones. Kind of want to use her, but probably safer to go AoE. We still have Uchi in our party, but she's Bond 5. So she's not going to unlock anything more from getting Bond up at the moment. So it can be difficult to keep track of which ones need certain Bond ranks to unlock their upgrades, and which ones don't. So this is one of those funny 6-person ways. Okay, looks like another bone. That silver chest. Typically those are bones. But sometimes they can be red gems. Yeah, red gems. I might cry if that third wave is 6 again. If you'll notice, the enemies aren't particularly any stronger than they were last Singularity, even though we're now deep into this Singularity. And even next Singularity, they start off not much better. Although there is an improvement towards the middle and end of that one, difficulty-wise. The final fights actually can really catch you off guard if you're not careful. In particular. Ah. Yes, please. Are we already to the fight? Doesn't seem right. Here's a cheat code for you. If you can get somebody on your friends list that has a nice Arjuna altar, oh bloody hell, any Arjuna altar, he will carry your bum through a great deal of the story as well. He does approximately this item, this chaos or talent of chaos. We have access to Uriel's MP upgrade after completing this Singularity. Now, interestingly enough, this interlude for Tomacat takes place here, but is locked behind the next Singularity for some reason. Well, no, I guess I remember the reason, but still a bit silly. After this fight, I'm actually going to take a moment to peek through and see if I can figure out if anyone else needs particular bond levels to unlock their upgrades that we already have available and are currently leveling. That's another important one. Notice it's in throwing important heirloom materials at things we're not going to be able to make use of for a bit. You know, the more I think of it, is unless you get one of the caster 4 stars that are bugger that are available from the starter role summon, it may be better just to not even bother with trying to level a DPS caster and focus on the supports. There we go. What? Meet the Chimera. Or the Chimera, rather. I don't know why I said key. This, most of the time they're berserkers, but they can be other classes. And there are quite a few variants of them you'll see throughout the story and events and the like. Typically those are the ones that can be alternate classes. They get, I think it's 2 actions per turn, and they can hit like a truck. So, to be wary of that. David, mate, I've decided your star weight's just too bloody high. He didn't drop a talent, unfortunately, but rims the brakes. Let's see, what are the casters available in the story summon currently? I know Nursery Rhyme is available. Okay, Nursery Rhyme and Helena Blavatsky. Nursery Rhyme's a really solid unit, and so is Helena. So yeah, definitely recommend leveling either of those if you happen to get them, especially Helena. She's really slept on. Some, for some reason, want to treat her like she's a support, and of course her support's not as strong as other supports. But she's really a DPS with a lot of damage up. She's a very good unit, and she can spook you at any time. We'll do this. Actually, this may be... Yeah, I remembered as we were loading in that we had a rematch against Caligula. So, Helena. For one, she has a 20% party MP battery, which I don't think I need to really go into much detail about why that's really nice. Her second skill is a passive 5 crit star per turn generator, and she has an 80% chance to to increase her own MP damage by 50% per turn, which is really nice. Now this skill gets an upgrade, a pretty good upgrade by the way. I think next anniversary. Yeah. Next, sorry, a year from now. Wait. Okay, maybe 2 years from now. That lowers the cooldown of it by 2 turns and adds a 30% MP self charge to it for her. So basically she has a self 50% charge that also charges 20% to both of her allies. And then a third skill is a 20% quick arts and buster up for 3 turns for the entire team. She's got an upgraded MP that ignores their defense buffs, reduces their defense, crit attack, and their debuff resistance for 3 turns each. She's just a really good unit. Team utility, solid damage, eventually a 50% battery, and those are always just beautiful. Jaunty scratches. She goes full tuning in this version of it. It's a lot of fun. It's unfortunate that we don't get any more charge for her. Right? That is life, I suppose. I almost instinctively activated her evade, which wouldn't have worked because David's evade's already on there. However, we can inactivate that. French servant speaking Japanese, giving a edgy German name to her MP. It's just amazing, just hilarious. Or whatever here. That's disappointing. When it's a solo class node like that, it makes me think, oh, maybe it's a boss. But then reality sets in. So if you notice, she has quite solid MP gain on her quicks, even without an arts card lead. Which is very, very lovely. It's sort of similar to Jack the Ripper in that regard, where her quick cards have really lovely MP gain. See, that could have been a hero proof, but it was just a blue gem. We've somehow quietly obtained a decent amount of those already, so that's lovely. Of course, they wouldn't even work with one servant at this point for all three skills, but it's a start. Well, maybe one of the bronzes, but we're not going to level of bronze lance's skills for a good while, most likely, if at all. Because it'd be what? It'd be Leonidas, Gareth. Or they're really getting creative now. Look, a 9-man wave. What will they think of next? That's unlucky. So long, Soldier Eye. Oh, look! A servant. And one we just mentioned, Leonidas. Now, I will say the actual bosses, at least their HP is starting to get a decent bit higher than it was last Singularity. But the regular mobs which you're fighting the vast majority of the time aren't particularly different. There's a hero proof and another Lancer piece. You know what? We're doing it. We're gonna use Squirtoria. Get it? Because she uses a squirt gun as a weapon. Wow. And Excalibur. So just to remind you, she's a single target archer. She has a 3 turns art up. That's also a defense up. For the art up is for herself. The defense up is for everyone. She has an unfortunate heal that lowers it's a big heal up to it's 5,000, so that's a chunk. But unfortunately, it drains 10% of her MP gauge, which is why it's very nice to have her at MP2 at least. Besides just the much higher damage, it lets you easily charge over 100% consistently. So basically erases the demerit here. And then her charisma is a bit interesting because it's an attack up and increases crit star drop rate for all male allies for 3 turns. But the big thing is her MP, single target, lowers their charge, or has a chance to lower their charge, and it, besides the refund that it gives by just doing damage inherently, it also will instantly refund 20% at base just to start you out with. So she loops like crazy with minimal support. She's a very good unit. Unfortunately, all of her big raid ups are gone, but she's always available in GSSR. So hopefully you get lucky on those if you're able to do them, or if you want to do them. 2 of those a year, 1 on New Year's, 1 on anniversaries. And as you can see, her MP gauge is, her MP gain is fairly substantial. David's really showing out. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but I like reflexively click display to see how many I have. It's becoming a definite issue. I can't stop my hand from doing it. It just moves on its own. More octuplet crystals, just keep those coming. Now we go on, story-wise, this is like a big goose chase side quest kind of deal, which is strange. But after that, we're in the home stretch for this singularity. know what? I need to be doing this just to further ensure that I get her MP, because she ends up needing 20%, but I keep getting stuck where she needs like 1 or 2% for some reason. Except on fights I intentionally drag out a little longer, and I would rather do so. Because it isn't needed here, but he does provide a battery. Now right now it's 10%, but as we rank up, eventually it'll go all the way up to 20%. Just a bit more insurance. Of course. Yeah, as you can see, that was completely superfluous and unnecessary. Just to back up both of their MPs in one turn. That's pretty funny. Unfortunately, there's no charge in this wave to be had. Alright, I was going to... Oh well. We'll try to do it after this fight, if I remember. Check and see if there are any other pressing units I need to try to get bond on. Ooh. A 4th wave fight. How ominous. Look how David's just stout enough that he's one-shotting these buggers too now, even without class advantage, fairly consistently. It amuses me. Even his art stats are normal. Well, he is level 40. So we actually could have one turn now. Well, we definitely could have if I did this and her charisma, but I'm a big dum-dum, so I didn't. Look how this one says danger when you got these These two chunky balls right there. I got a drop rate said that. Dropped off a cliff recently. It's a crying shame. Okay, let's check interviews. And most of these lag behind singularities without mentioning Bond. However, there are also the rank up points, which typically have to be fully ascended before they're available, which is a bit rough. Well, it's quite rough for the early game units, the early game 1 to 3 star units that only have 2 skills until they unlock them with the rank up quest. Because they have to be fully ascended, which can take a decent while to do because of how many monuments you need for a fresh account. So that's a bit rough, unfortunately. I'm going to do this again. In this case, if I have to heal her, I can make up for the 10% that she pays for the heal, but it's unlikely to happen. Predominantly, I'm going to try and help her get her MP so I can show it to you. But the good news is, and you get plenty of charge. Never in doubt. Where are these 10% crits when I need them? Seriously. We're going to go triple RT just for kicks and giggles. Now her MP has a lot of hits. Good, she nearly got 50% just off her MP. With just her own buffs. I don't even think that Yeah, they're not even rank 10. Neither of them are. So, rank 9 to 10, the increase you get per rank as you level up a skill from 9 to 10 is the equivalent of 2 ranks as opposed to just 1 rank up, is how big the jump is. So it's almost like she's missing 2 ranks on top of another 10 of cooldown off. Oh, we got another hero proof. Quite a bit of QP. I wish we had an equivalent of alter ego that worked for knight classes. Now, lore-wise, there would be a gunner class, which is actually a thing. And we have plenty of candidates already in game, and there's plenty of candidates that aren't in the game yet that could fit that class, but they haven't added it yet, and who knows if they will. And if you think about it, even meta-wise, it makes quite a bit of sense, because the invention of gunpowder and stuff is what killed off all the fighting with swords, spears, and arrows in actual history. So it's pretty apropos that a gunner class or a gunslinger class. I think it's just gunner. Would be the equivalent, the alter ego equivalent, just reversed onto knight classes, and then resisted by cavalry. I'm just absent-mindedly leaving Lon Ling in here for some reason. Not even paying attention to what the nodes are. Oops. Come on. So this is rough for Lon Ling, but thankfully he doesn't actually have to attack this turn. Now will, just because it's a braid chain. Alright. This was a mistake. Could say this for next wave, but whatever. Big part of it is buffing up our own team anyway. And it lost 3 turns. I think it's 3 turns, 3 or 5, probably 3. I've been looking at a lot of MPs and a lot of skills lately, so there's some things that jumbled in the head. Yeah, 3 turns. Now here's a situation where she can one-turn this, despite being single target. Proof of concept of target switching using MPs. The aggressiveness of that kick always amuses me. Another master level. Alright, let's see what a big boy Eric can do. Yeah, he's not 2k fired, didn't think so. And of course we get 3 of the same Eric's cards, as opposed to... Because now he picks... Oh, so Bonsi. This is why Eric's Bonsi is so good. It gives him a non-time limited 3-time guts that can't be removed unless it's procced. Now, unfortunately, it only revives him with 500 HP, which is why hitting him with dots like burn and curse and the like, and poison and the like, are really frustrating, because then it takes 2 guts per turn instead of just 1, which significantly lowers the amount of time he can actually survive in. So sort of counters him a bit in that regard. But between those 3 guts, his skill guts, his evade, and then depending on if you're using the default Mystic card or Atlas Mystic card, he has either an evade from that or an invuln. Atlas is better because you can clear debuffs, so you can actually clear dots off of him if needed, and you can lower his cooldown by 2 turns, so can perhaps get even another turn of his evade and this guts if you're lucky. But of course, until then, the default Mystic card works fairly fine with him. This game's actually trolling me right now with the card distribution. Since David wants to attack so much, we'll give him the Brave Chant. Or Darius. So he's AoE Berserker that you can level if you don't have anything else. He can hold the fort for you. My hair against the Buster the Brave Chain, it seems. So he's trying to quick charge to get his AoE EMP and wipe a wave, is what he's attempting to do. And we're hopefully not going to allow him to do so. Now we're doing a lot more damage since we get the Buster chain up. These little skellies will pop a wallet with they keep spamming their attack ups, and now they get their extra attack. Okay, there. It could be a bit rough for us if he got that off. More bones, more pieces. Just keep on coming. I think that was the last of this particular chapter. So we move on to the next filler node. Okay, you know the drill. Actually, I could do this. I could MP turn 1 now, if I wanted. Wait, no. Wait, yeah, I can. I think she has her second skill, right? I'm crazy. She might not have it yet, actually. Ah, there it is. Yeah. Alright. There's 10% charge here, 10% charge here. Now both of these skills, funnily enough, go up to 20% charge at rank 10. Speaking of, this is the skill I recommend leveling on Mash first. Generally, you can't really go wrong by leveling the battery skill. MPs are just really nice. It's really good to get access to as high battery as you can, as quickly as you can. Really helps out. Just go ahead and give everyone my defense up. It's small at this point. Being paranoid about the MP charge yet again was a waste. Of course, now we can almost MP with that as well. Oh, here's a beefy wave. As you see, even with the defense up, although it's not the most impressive of one since it's rank 1 at the moment. And those things pack a punch, pack a wallet, even though it wasn't a crit. And they can crit, and that's trouble. To keep in a look-see out for that. Of course. Oh well. As well, we just do this number. So this is a fight against Waver and Alexander, and it can actually be a bit of a thing if you're unprepared. Because Waver's going to quickly charge up Alexander's MP, which is AoE, as well as buff him up. So it's one of those situations where on the turn Alexander tried the MP, it'd be really handy to have this available. But let's see if we can't prevent him from even getting attacked. And once you get Alexander down, Waver's not that threatening since his MP doesn't do any damage. Now, if you're not careful, his face cards can still do a chunk to you. And his MP is annoying because it, stun and all that. But that's better than oh no, my entire front line just disappeared. Okay, we're almost there. 13 out of 15. You know, once again, we can turn 1 MP if we want it. Where we don't have a need to, but... So juicing up her defense to help offset her Berserker class disadvantage, and then you add her HP recovery is a pretty good combo. Because she's less likely to get nearly one shot with a crit and have plenty of chance to heal herself up. Really, you could pretty safe setup is to have Marsh, David, and then Friendsless DPS. That's a pretty safe team. Of course, the big stall out supportive team gets your MP fairly mightily quickly, get crits pretty effectively as well as Marsh and Horns. So you have some options. They really don't like Lon Ling. Yeah, unfortunately Marsh isn't going to, or silly me, I should put two of Marsh's cards together. It didn't work, it didn't matter though because of the crit. Somehow amusing to me that, oh, did we get an actual drop of an octuplet crystal? That's very welcome. And looks like a similar fight to the last one. Come to think of it, we could turn one MP with Jolta as well. Because she has her own 20% charge. She starts at 60. Speaking of Hans, we have plenty of embers now, so I should probably actually get back to leveling him here in a moment. But at this point we're so close to finishing this singularity. It's funny how we're going through this entire singularity, all 15 chapters, in one sitting, as opposed to Orleans, which possibly had less nodes to it, because there's really bad filler here, just because of how much I wasted time trying to explain things last stream, as opposed to this one. Well, this is a rough hand. Oh well. We'll do this. At least kill one of them. Yeah, a little mash takes and does neutral damage to everyone. This game doesn't like me at the moment. Let's actually do this just so he can actually do a little bit of damage, just in case. He keeps surprising me with how low damage he's doing despite being level 40. Yeah, BBQ probably would have been better for Grid Star Gen. Well, I don't know, 16's pretty solid, I suppose. For one quick card and a bunch of raids. That's a bit annoying when they harden like that. Okay, now you're doing class advantage. You should kill this pretty easy with a buster. Good lad. Is this one time? Guess we'll find out. I should have gave him the attack up, but I don't know if it would have mattered. Yeah, no, he wouldn't have. Ooh, just a berserker. Now the question is this going to be a boss or a couple, 3 waves of golems? Alright, mate. Hope you get you a nice starter summon. See you, mate. Hopefully your paperwork gets figured out. And it is indeed the golems. That's alright though. Or almost. See you, mate. So that should have been a Berserker skill gem. maybe. Yeah, blue gem. We actually need quite a bit of those. So we can start tinkering with Heracles' skills. Oh dear. This is a mess. I'm going to get... ah, bugger. Oh yeah, the stone golems lower the defense to heal themselves instead of raising the defense. Why? I don't know. But they do. Okay, take that out. Alright, Marsh, I believe in you. You can do it. That's a loss. Look at her go. Or Chimera. Now, unlike the wyverns, it makes a little bit more sense that that thing got in there. Basing it off the size of the golems, at least. But those wyverns are large lads. How they get in those castles? Wait, we only just now have 4 Berserker blue gems. I thought we were already at 3. Oops. Come on, boss battle. Oh, Romulus, right. I thought we'd already fought him. This is a bit cheesy, but I quite like cheese. It's delicious. I need to go to the grocery store and get me some mozzarella cheese sticks. That sounds pretty good there now, actually. We also have the little spotted kind, little patches of white and gold cheese. Alright, so if you recall last stream, I embarrassed myself just a wee bit because I thought this fight was Lost Singularity, but it's this one. This boss is weak to cavalry class, but resist knight classes. So it's kind of like a theoretical gunner, I guess you could say. And Uchi, in particular, is really good at taking down these buggers. In fact, I'm actually going to use my main sushi just to give you a little taste. Now this particular boss type, as I said last time, is going to be the final or near final boss in pretty much every singularity from here on out. And even though they're tied to the Arc 1 story, similar enemy types to them, not necessarily the exact same, but roughly similar model framework, I guess you could say, type enemies are going to be the final bosses of the boss spells as well, and certain events. No, support setup. I did this last time too, where I kept clicking the wrong bloody thing. Okay, she's in the all slot. So there she is. As you can see, I haven't been able to finish ranking up the skills, unfortunately. But them's the breaks. So this enemy type does AoE normal attacks, and occasionally, meet the demon god below. And yes, get very used to seeing the buggers. Now, unfortunately, we don't have any good. We'll go ahead and give this some battery. We'll hold off on casting this just because it's an invuln, and in the off chance Floros gets their MP off before we get ours, because frankly, we get ours off, this thing's dead, going straight to the ground. We'll go ahead and use her charisma. But in the off chance we need the invuln for a turn. Now this is another thing they do. They're bad to a crit. No, it wasn't a crit. That one was. The other one should have been. It acted like it was. Oh well. Yeah, their crits can be quite dangerous, as you can see. Okay, Ushi's got a MP next turn. She could be using Investigated as well, it's just we don't have any quick cards, so that part of it would be wasted, but it's fine. Now Ushi's not going to take any damage this turn, and she's healed. Alright. She still has her evade if needed. But it isn't. So, has that MP damage? Predominantly just her own buffs. Because again, I don't have the skills fully maxed out, so that kind of offsets the buff from this only level 4 Mystic card that I have as well. Now, Demon God Pillars can either drop Void Dust, or sometimes they drop something called Heart of a Foreign God, which is probably which is early on the better drop for you, probably, because it's really rough to get those early. And there's no real way to grind for them outside of events until you complete Arc 1 of the story. That's how rough those things are. Last chapter here. Alright, I'll go ahead and close my main. I'll leave my main open for a moment in case I want to tinker with anything else. No, I don't want to use Bardica. I just want to do this though. The actual final boss of this singularity is sort of random and out of the blue. Well, not sort of. It's very random and out of the blue. Has nothing to do with Rome at all, really. It's wow. That could have been better. I think we're alright. Ah, bugger. Does his second art more hits than his first? That doesn't make any sense. Surely not. It's just the animation. Presumably. Okay. Saved by the crit. One turn was saved by the crit. Rather. Okay, looks like a very similar fight to the last one. I should probably switch Heracles back in the front row, just to make turns a bit more consistent, more damaging cards. Ditto with David over Marsh, just because he hits harder. Of course, it's not particularly helpful. When these are the card setups we get, this would have been 4 David cards. Bugger. That was rude. It's a beefy wave. See, we're starting to get there. Just took us all the way to the end until it did. If we're lucky, we get some good drops from this, since they're all 3 gold enemies. As is a reminder, the rarer enemy types, gold being the highest, generally have better drop rates, which is further increase the higher level they are. Wasn't meant to be this go around though. And here we go, the final fight of Septim against Altera. Aka Attila the Hun. And our first enemy that broke the 100,000 HP threshold. Of course, it's not going to help her against Chloe here. This little Tasmanian death devil as she is. And that was the final fight of Septim, everyone. She has an I quite like Altera. She's a bit dorky in a way that amuses me. or that I find endearing rather. But they didn't use her well here, unfortunately. She was kind of a non-character there. Now her welfare version, which was the first welfare that they added to main interlude. So in the future, everyone can acquire her, even if they missed her events. Now, unfortunately, it's going to cost rare prisms to get access to her. Well, if you're around when the main interlude starts, it will be free for you during that particular event. But after that passes, you'll have to unlock it from the rare prism shop. And Harmasha ascended, so she can now go to level 40. 5 Glories of Chaos, that's really lovely. And yet another Holy Grail. And we get Boudica, as well as this, in our gift box. Or, we didn't have a copy of Boudica yet. And next is Okeanos, where we'll go sailing the four seas, searching for trouble, trying to find out where all the rum is gone. But before we end off, we have some summons to do. Come on. Give us something like that. Wow. We're used to this at this point. And the good news is we're going to get our Barnes here. Whether it actually ends up matching is another thing. That particular CE seems to like us quite a bit, unfortunately. I wish it didn't. I wish it quite avoided us. Or Berserker? Alright, there's Darius. We have Tomacat though, for potential AoE Berserker. And Tomacat's a really solid unit now after her buffs. I'm also not particularly fond of... Oh dear, what have we here? Well, how about that? I said we'd maybe roll for her in Oni lands. And she's like, don't worry, I got you. So what that's about is she has like 3 goddesses inside of her. So she just went with Cetanai because Cetanai is, well, as she said, the one that stands out the most. Well, that's a lot of fun. I'm pretty happy about that. She's going to be very handy, and she's going to do very well against those Demon God pillars as well. Pretty sure she gets... Hold on. Pretty sure alter egos get bonus damage against them. Hmm. I am legitimately not sure how alter egos interact with demon god pillars. I will attempt to do some research into that and find out for you, because I'm curious from myself as well. I hmm. Okay, let's keep going. I thought they'd be fairly easy to search out. Or a divine banquet that can be handy for MP game. So I guess we'll keep that for now. Or what's this one? Presumably this is the radar. It's usable since we don't really have anything better really. Or caster. Geronimo. Oh dear. So remember the big rant I went on about how bad Kiriyame is? Geronimo is pretty much like that, except probably even worse, honestly, because the poor lad basically has one skill. It's they really did him dirty, unfortunately. Second copy of that. Of course. I am still a bit in shock we got C tonight. Cause not only that, but there was an equal chance we could have gotten Da Vinci Lily. Because they're both rated up. Really, this isn't the kind of banner you would generally want to roll on. For a particular servant, because split rate ups are a pain in the bum. But that's really funny. That here she came. It bugs me that we're so close to one more summon. I may check and see how many fights are in the first node of Okeanos. Welcome to the stormy seas. So, luckily here, I feel like the story gets a bit better. A bit. Now the main story, the underlying story, doesn't really start progressing any till the end of next Singularity. Okay, it's one fight. We'll go ahead and do that. Just to get one last summon for the day. Let's see. Saber and Archer. Well, we know what to do with that. Also, this will just slap that on David. do this by do this number. Actually, we'll do this. We have this shiny new CE. Right, this is better. We actually have high enough cost. We can play around with this kind of stuff now. Just snuck up on us all of a sudden. Now, from what I remember, this singularity is quite long. Need to check. Pretty sure it's oh, no, it's 14 chapters. That's odd. I remember it being quite long. They may just have a lot of fights in each node. Pirates can drop Nero proofs, which is very lovely. Or I should. Oh well, it's too late now. I almost said there's a chance David won't be able to kill the enemy, but then he crit. There's our Saint Courts and our Spare Serpent Eye Jewel. If we leveled Uriel, we'd need quite a bit of it. If we leveled Medusa, we'd need quite a bit of it. Of course, we don't even have Medusa, I don't think. We do have Uriel. was the wrong way. I'm so used to clicking over to the friend point summons. I forgot. Well, here goes. Now, unfortunately, if we wait till daily login to play a game, this banner will be gone, so it will be exchanged for something else. But we got C tonight from it. The only painful part is the bonus summon is probably going to be, this is at least a servant. Right, okay, another copy of Ushi. We can be very happy with that. And I think there we go. Now she's as strong as if she was MP1, or MP5 rather, before pre-MP upgrade. So she's only going to get even more bonkers after that. Now we definitely need to level Marsh, so we'll do that first with the embers we have available, because these are the only ones that give her a bonus when it comes to. Oh. You know what? We accept your offering. Let's go ahead and see if we can't get our horns on up. These should be turning into it. Yeah, I'm going to not use the silvers. Probably just burn those for mana prisms. Since we have so many of these bloody bronze embers. And they're seemingly doing the job. It's amusing we don't have any caster ones there. We'll feed him Eric as well. There we go. We'll go ahead and ascend him. Get access to his second skill, which is an NP, a stealth NP gauge battery. Forbidden pages. Those don't really start being available for us until London, which is the next singularity. And the drop rate is quite poor. Alright, we can send Ushi and David. Of course, we don't want to neglect Robin. And David's already gotten his most important skill available. That being said, his third skill is a charisma, which is also very helpful. Any attack ups, nothing but a good thing. We'll hold off on this for the moment. At least. Now Hans's skill leveling order It's his third skill. I'm pretty sure that is sort of the key. And unfortunately, to get access to it, we need to fully ascend him, which is going to take some pages. Now when it comes to so apparently it just depends on which particular demon god pillar it is, whether alter ego gets bonus damage against them or not. So it's something we'll have to keep track of as we come across them. Alright, speaking of, we'll go ahead and give Season 9 a nice ember just to move her up out of the pack. Now similarly to Mash, since she's an extra class, she's not going to get bonus EXP from anything except for those all embers, like that one. Now the good thing, one of the many good things about 5 stars is that their base max level is already bloody 50, which will take you easily past London and even into America. Story-wise. And really, once you're getting to that point, it's time to probably slow down and make sure you start leveling more of your units and ascending them in the first place. Oh, skill. We can actually do this. Start leveling her skill. See, she needs Dragon Fangs. Unfortunately, this is quite a bit of QP this is taking. But I'm curious how far we can go at this point. Oh wow. We might be able to get a first skill cooldown. Yeah, we can. And there's a stopping point. Now see, it's now taking over 1 million QP to go past this point. But this is a perfectly fine stopping point. She should give about... well, I'll just check. She should give about 15% battery here. Yeah. It is 15% battery. So it's a midway point between the base 10 and then the cap at 20. But as you can see, her skill materials, she doesn't require any skill gems. Extra classes don't. Well, is it Avengers or Rulers? Let me check. Okay, Avengers don't. Maybe it's Ruler. Okay, Rulers take skill gems. But they only take 5 of each. 5 of each class and color to level their skills. And then they're the last couple of ranks are back to materials. Suppose we might as well start our Restore skills. Oops. Let's go ahead and see how high we can get Heracles here. The answer is not very, but maybe we'll get lucky and get a crit. We take that. We take those. Got him over 10k each now. All right. Or also, remember, there are these free quests available, and completing each of those 3 times. Okay, when I refer to referring to one, I just for shorthand, when I say clear a free quest, I mean do it 3 times to where you can check in each of these nodes until the infinity sign starts, and then it awards you an SQ. Alright. I'll probably do some of this off stream. Because I wouldn't mind rolling on this banner some more. But if I do, I'll have to roll off stream as well, unfortunately. Because again, after daily login, this banner will be switched over to what is the next set of banners that's up? It will be the China Lost Belt and looks like Salem. Epic of Remnant. Yeah. To pick from. Neither of which are particularly appealing. So yeah, I may try to get some of these. So now, one reason, normally I'd say just save these, because typically, you know, they start costing AP. However, right now, they cost a quarter AP for first completion. So like this is bloody 1 AP to do it. Now, again, it's because it's 3 runs. It's fairly time consuming, but for 3 runs, you only get 1 Saint Quartz. Now, depending on the way the story nodes are, this is actually faster for getting 1 Saint Quartz. However, for every 10 free quests you complete, you'll get a bonus 10 Saint Quartz. Just like every 10 interludes and every 10 rank up quests. And every singularity you complete, you get a bonus 10. So do keep that in mind. So I think I will get to work on that. I definitely don't think it's really something you'd want to watch. But because it'll be the same little filler fights over and over. With one exception. Okay, with one exception. This is a special, one-time only free quest in this singularity. I'll go ahead and do this now on stream because it's a fight against Shadow Heracles, and it's a tricky one because if you're not paying attention, because it pops up as you're going through the story. If you'll recall, when we came through story-wise and we got here and cleared this node, this popped up and then this popped up and said next, so I go over here because that's where the story is. So if we tried that right there and say this was day 1 FGO where we didn't really have a friends list or anything, or were following anyone, we couldn't really grab any decent high-level servants, we would have gotten we wouldn't have gotten wrecked, as the kids say, because this is a pretty chunky boy Heracles over here. Oh, I still have Ushi up. But we can one-turn him. I'm not even going to bother with the CEs. So normally this costs quite a bit of AP as well. I think it's like 12 at base. Yeah, look at that. He's got 200k health. Oh dear me. See, she got 15% as opposed to 10, which is overkill, but nothing wrong with that. Let's go ahead and pop up the evade just in case he gets some attacks off, which he's not going to. Now this particular fight, it's the way they've scaled the experience and stuff, it's more similar to stuff you'll see in like late Okeanis or London. Really London, which is amusing. Not sure why they... Well, perhaps it's a sort of an Easter egg kind of thing, going back to the anime. Like, look at that. 11k. Early on, that would have been several master levels. My first time through, I was caught off guard by it and ended up seeing that converts to a regular free quest, but still level 40 rec. Fortunately, it's not one that's easily counterable by, or quickly cleared with an ARE for anything I have available. One of the big holes in my main account is that I don't have a AoE Berserker that can quickly get the NP up. Well, I do, he's just not leveled. Okay, if anyone's been paying attention to things I've talked about, you probably already know who I do have that I haven't leveled yet. No, there wasn't a hint by what I scrolled down to. What are you talking about? Let's get Heracles back over here. And David. Oh, David. No lollygagging about. I don't know why we're doing this higher level free quest. But see, even though it's supposed to be like level 40, the enemies aren't particularly strong or threatening at all. Now, I'm pretty sure he can one-shot this thing without this, but just to be safe. Oh, looks like we got a barn. She did some nice stars from her quick times. That's lovely. Alright. Three-way. Now we have to do that 2 more times. How many summons? Also, let's go to my main and fix my support setup. Alright, quick. Five summons until bonus. So we'll need to do 6 summons, which means we need 18 Saint Courts. Okay. Well, now we know what to aim for. And that's what I'm going to do. I'll grind out 18 Saint Courts. So 8 from free quests and 10 from the master quest for the master quest for doing 10 free quests, and then I'll do those rolls. As for this stream, I'll go ahead and end after we get the Saint Courts from this. I figure since we started it, I might as well finish it with you all. being a little sloppy. We could have handled that second wave a lot cleaner than that. Aren't you surprised Heracles failed to kill that? Let's change it up and go back to Australia a little bit. We'll start with the weakest. Wow, we just incidentally got our MP there. Okay, once again I can demonstrate to target switch with a single target MP. And she's looped to MP with one arts card. So yeah, now it goes back up to 13 because it doesn't get the refund anymore, or the discount. Alright, so that's the plan. I'm just going to off-screen grind to 18 Saint Courts so I can do 6 summons here. Well, 7 really because of the bonus. Hopefully get a copy of Ku or Arsico. Be very lovely to get both, but that'll be all for the stream, so hope you enjoyed. See you next time.